Yes, good morning and thanks for joining us on the Press, the People's Program. Glad to be here. My name is Anire, Binitie. Today promises to be a great one. It depends on how you woke up. I woke up feeling very positive despite all that is happening around me, all the noise. Because if you listen to the noise around you, I tell you, you will end up not doing anything. You get so distracted. You get weighed down. Depression seeps in, anger, resentment. A lot will just go through, a lot of emotion going through Nigerians this moment. Joy, happiness is free. You have to create yours. If there's nothing you get out of the show this morning, I want you to get that. Happiness is free, is a decision made by an individual. Nobody will give it to you. Money can't give it to you. Status won't give it to you. I'm telling you. Traveling out of the country won't give it to you. Life is not even easy there. You know, it is hard work as a Nigerian. When you travel outside the shores of the country, you work 10 times more than the citizens of that nation because you have a lot to prove. All right? So that is just the message. Starting the show, you have to decide to be happy despite the noise. Today we're starting with the front pages of the papers because of some hitches. Once we get our weather report, we'll go straight to what the weather has for us today. So this morning, let us kickstart the show with the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune this morning says the Renewed Hope FCT President Tinubu commissions Gudu Cemetery Kabushi Junction's two main carriageways today. There's a welcome of His Excellency to the commissioning just before time on the front page. Now, above the mast, Ogbomoso abductors speak through school principals again. We didn't ask for 1 billion naira ransom. Sharia, we are only demanding our members' release. Ogbomoso abductors speak through school principal again. They are only demanding the release of their members. Now, insecurity has gone to another level where the abductors will say they don't need money, they want exchange of, you know, exactly what is going on now. These are stories that we see in movies, stories we see happen in places like Iran, Iraq, Libya, where you ask for exchange of sometimes a good one for a bad one. So they now abduct and ask in exchange, not money, the release of their members. So crime, kidnapping, terrorism may just continue on the high rise. This is the first time this is happening, and I tell you, Nigerians, this is a wake-up call for all of us. Security must be the duty of all, and the federal government must be on their toes. Insecurity is taking a new dimension. We've used the word hydra-headed. We've abused it beyond comprehension. But I tell you, the head is mutating. And for the very first time, terrorists are asking exchange of their members and not money. This is a red flag, and we must treat it as such. Bandits kidnap 50 elders on peace mission to Zamfara. Bandits kidnap 50 elders on peace mission to Zamfara. 3 passengers die in Warri Itakpe train accident. This has happened. The accident is not the first. The papers actually carried it today. Incidents on that axis has become really worrisome, and we need to also take a look at what is happening on that route immediately, ASAP, as we say. All right, let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Vanguard, how high prices are degrading quality of food Nigerians eat. How high prices are degrading quality of food Nigerians eat. Unsafe food kills 53,000 Nigerians annually. Seekers 50 million. Federal government raises alarm. We have riders, food prices soaring again. Have rewritten household budgets. rising prices, shrinking meal portions, reducing dietary planning, greater use of local foods, say Nigerians bear over 80% of burden, unveils new measures to combat foodborne diseases. Others. And now a lady bought fufu, akpu, bought akpu what 1,000 naira. Definitely after planning how the food will go, you keep it in a very safe and dry place, or you could put it in the refrigerator and you bring it out and you boil. Unfortunately, some people don't even boil before eating. Now, that is not where I'm going. Just 2 days after the purchase, she woke up in the morning and discovered strange colors, pinkish, reddish growth on the fufu. So you can imagine what Nigerians have to live with. That is food poisoning, if you ask me. For those who don't even reboil before eating, you can imagine what is going on. And people have to buy fufu because when you eat fufu in the morning, sometimes just one wrap will take some people till mid-afternoon, the reason why they eat. So this is really true. High prices are degrading quality of food in Nigeria, where we have stories of people fermenting fufu with bleach and powdered soap so they can quickly go to the market and sell. It is really, really terrible. You go to the market, you buy your fish. After cooking your soups with it, you actually taste chemicals on the fish, be it fresh, be it dried fish. Is it crayfish? Is it gari, beans, rice? That is why we keep having organ failure issues in the nation. We really need to do something about the situation, and Nigerians should stop killing themselves. We are actually our own culprits, I tell you. It is a scary, scary reality. Is it palm oil? You can't even buy palm oil. You pour the palm oil into your frying pan and you're trying to prepare your soups. You put in your onion. It is actually frying. It gives you the impression it is frying. If you take a closer look, the onion remains the same. We are dying. We're killing ourselves in this nation. Unfortunately, environmental factors are not helping matters. We are crying out to the federal government to do more in terms of this situation. All right, abducted oil principal speaks from captivity, begs Nigerians to secure their freedom. Pastor Emily Ike Imokwede Memorial Lecture, Political Position is in Leadership, Kuka tells Nigerians. Speak loud. Let them hear. Xenophobia, Nigeria may retaliate against South Africa, says federal government. This is not the solution, and for me, we shouldn't hear or see things like this on our front page. I personally have not read the full story, rushing down to present the show, but I want to believe that the federal government was quoted out of context, saying Nigeria may retaliate against South Africa. In what way? In what way is what I'm asking. All I'm saying, when we have situations like this, the federal government should respond immediately, ensure that citizens in this country are safe and protected. We have our embassies or consulate or whatever in these countries. The first thing is to protect Nigerians there so the casualties are 0 to none. That is what we ask for. I want to believe that this federal government has been misquoted with this, but again, after the show, I'll pick up the paper and read to really fully understand what they mean by retaliation at this time. We've been told that about 500 Nigerians will be airlifted. I've not followed that story to actually give you the full details to see how far they've gone, but that plan is in place. I don't know if it has happened or it will happen soon, or some have returned. I would have had that on our front pages. We don't have that yet, but I don't think the federal government will retaliate on any level. We'll read that story and find out what it really entails. All right, let's move on to other papers. Let's take a look at the authority. In no particular order, the authority this morning has the screaming headlines: electricity, you'll see improvement, new power minister. Rider praises TCN, personnel, other stakeholders. Yes, new Prime Minister, new promises. What we expect to see are the data. The data, you just pick up your paper and you see the good that has been done, not the promises. We are used to promises. We don't want promises. We just want this message to get across. This administration, new one coming in, anyone in authority, it is, you know, when you pick up the papers and you continue to see promises, do you understand what I'm saying? From my stomach up. We want to, what I want to say in the authority is to say, oh, you know, 24 hours light, and not just that, it is working. Then you come with the data, you show us, and we all clap and pat you behind your back. That's what we expect. We've gone past promises. What we need is action. All right, above the mast, cuts to the side, ADC leadership dispute June 16th. Away from that, Oyo government demolishes alleged kidnap hideout. Very good. Kudos to the Oyo state government. 2027 NDC National Movement Party of Choice says Pandef. Married woman who staged her own kidnap found in hotel with male lover. Nigeria. Oh, all right. Seal on the authority. Bandits kidnap 50 Zamfara elders during negotiations. Economists commend CBN's $50.04 billion US dollars reserve rebound. Let me take that again. Economists commend CBN's $50.04 billion US dollars reserve rebound. All right, we have more papers. Let's take a look at the blueprint. The blueprint this morning. The blueprint also has the story on xenophobia. It says xenophobic attack, Tinubu orders evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. Documentation of imperiled citizens ongoing. Imperiled citizens. Okay, never heard that word before. I hope I pronounced it well. Documentation of imperiled citizens ongoing. I'll check out the meaning when the show ends, says Bianca Ojuku. All right. We need hope. FCT President Tinubu to commission Gudu Cemetery and other commissionings today. All right, let's move on now to the Whistler. The Whistler this morning says 30 Nigerians linked to 87 billion naira fraud in United States, says investigation. That's the Whistler. Texas leads arrest as U.S. expands deportation enforcement drive. Romance scams, BEC schemes dominate conviction records. See what I'm talking about? You pick up the Whistler, you see the faces of the Nigerians. You can actually read and follow. You know their names. This is what we ask that the Nigerian government do for us. When you come out and tell us 300 terrorists were killed, you tell us you rescued 300 abducted Nigerians, we need to see the pictures. We need to know their names. We need to know where they come from. We need to follow. There has to be truth and transparency when you deal with citizens. We do not have that. Everything is left to the imagination, and when we begin to go south with our thinking, you complain. Let Nigerians see the pictures. Let us see what you are doing. If English is too big, let's use Pidgin. If Pidgin is too difficult, then we should print in our native dialect so people can follow. That is what we are saying. You can take a look, the pictorial right there on the front page of the Whistler, the Nigerians mentioned. If they were international and not Nigerians or nationals from other countries, you will see their names and pictures, and that is exactly what we are asking for. This is accountability. Okay, bandits kidnap 39 elders after failed peace mission in Zamfara. All right, let's move on to this day newspaper. This day newspaper says, will not allow violent extremists define identity. Tinubu vows. Charges citizens to provide useful information to address issue, says fighting terror in national duty. External reserve hits 17-year high of 50.12 billion US dollars, growth 30.09% year on year. Investors commit 656 billion naira to MOU bills. Higher yields drive fixed income deals. Now, the first paper says 50.04 billion. Another paper is saying 50.12 billion US dollars. These are the things we'll talk about. So which do we pick? Which do we take? The lines are usually blurred when it comes to the truth, and statistics keeps changing and mutating from one paper to the next, and it doesn't sit well. Even if I know go school, it doesn't sit well. We're talking about our shared national interest. It doesn't go well. Give us one figure and let it resonate all through. That is what we're saying. Accountability, transparency must be our slogan. In fact, we should put it somewhere on the flag while it flies, so it spreads in the air and everyone gets to know that we need to do the right thing. All right, Daily Trust is the next paper. It says 2027 NDC strips Kwankwan sell camp of tickets. 2027 NDC strips Kwankwan sell camp of tickets. Daily Trust newspaper. All right, the Punch is next. Let's take a look at the Punch this morning. The Punch newspaper. The Punch, it says terrorist den 360 freed Borno captive recount starvation death. That's on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Oyo abduction kidnap principal denies bandits Sharia demand. Okay. Nigerians spend 50 billion naira on US visa applications. 50 billion naira. Xenophobia. Federal government weighs sanctions against South Africa. Suspected kidnappers kill soldier, injure another in Ogun. Below that story, 53,000 dead, 50 million sick yearly from unsafe food. All right, we're moving on to the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent this morning. The Daily Independent subscribers await value as 50 billion naira telecom boost falls short. That's on the Daily Independent. Labour wants workers may stay home over rising insecurity. Say nearly 2,000 Nigerians lost their lives in 2026. Front page of the Daily Independent. Tinubu projects Lagos as Africa's gateway to global capital. Federal government moves repatriation of Nigerians from South Africa to tomorrow. World delineation, Ijo Urobo demand implementation of INEC report. The Guardian. Let's take a look at the Guardian. I will take it. Okay, the Guardian also has the story on Tinubu. Insecurity, labor protest as Senate expedites state police. That I think will take as the screaming headlines on the Guardian this morning. Insecurity, labor protest as Senate expedites state police. We have lots of papers. The Daily Sun. The Daily Sun, Tinubu calls for whistleblowing against terrorists. Tinubu calls for whistleblowing against terrorists, urges Nigerians to say something. Senate to pass state police bill this week. That's on the front page of the Daily Sun. And the last paper, the Daily Times, the last paper this morning is the stories on the Daily Times. Orire kidnap, abductors want release of imprisoned members, not ransom. Captive school principal as Oyo government demolishes a Delabo kidnappers hideout. Okay, that is our last paper. As I don't know, do we have the weather now? Joseph, can we move on to the weather? Okay, we have the weather now. Let's take Edo State. Let's take a look at the weather in Edo State this morning. Edo, rainy conditions from 9 a.m. to 11 expected in Edo State with thunderstorm at about 2 p.m. It is 80 degrees in Edo State. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 82. At 11, 83. At 12, 84. And at 1 p.m. it will remain so till 2 p.m. Highest temperatures is expected at 84 and lowest at 73. All right, Delta State is next. Let's take a look at Delta. Delta, it is 81 degrees in Delta this morning. It will rise to 84 at 10 a.m. At 11, 85. At 12, 86. At 11, at 1 p.m., I beg your pardon, 8 to 7, remaining so at 2 p.m. Rainy conditions are expected around now in Delta State. Wind gusts are up to 6 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 87 degrees and lowest at 76. Bayelsa is next. Bayelsa is 82 degrees past 9 a.m. at 35% of rain. At 10 a.m., it will rise to 84. At 11, 85 at 30% of rain. At 12, remaining settled 85 till about 1 p.m. Weather at 12 will have 40% of rain, and at 1 p.m. 50% of rain. Cloudy conditions expected around 10 a.m. Wind gusts are up to 8 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 87 degrees and lowest at 75. Rivers is next. It is 81 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10, it will rise to 83. At 11, 85. At 12, 86. At 1, 86. Remaining so till 2. Wind gusts are up to 8 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 87 degrees and lowest at 76. Enugu is next. We have Enugu this morning. Rainy conditions expected around 3 p.m. in Enugu. Meanwhile, it is 79 degrees in Enugu. At 10, it will rise to 81. At 11, 83. At 12, 84. It will rise to 85 at 1 p.m. and 86 at 2 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 12 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 87 and lowest at 75. Let's take a look at Imo. It is 80 degrees past 9 a.m. in Imo. At 10, it will rise to 83. At 11, 84. At 12, 85. At 1 p.m., 85, remaining so at 2 p.m. Rainy conditions are expected around 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. as it were. All right, let's take a look at Abuja. Abuja this morning is 78 degrees. It will rise to 79 at 10, at 11, 81, at 12, 82, at 1 p.m., 84, and at 2 p.m., 85. Wind gusts are up to 11 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 86 and lowest at 75. All right, let's take a look at Kaduna this morning. Kaduna, it is 78 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m., 80 degrees. At 11, 82. At 12, 84. And at 1 p.m., 85. It will remain so at 2 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 17 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 85, lowest 75. All right, let's see if we have Kano. Yes, we do. Kano is 84 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m., 87. At 11, 91. At 12, 93. At 1 p.m., 94. And at 2 p.m., 95. Highest temperatures 95 degrees, lowest 73. And on that note, we come to the end of our weather forecast predictions this morning. The show is still the press. I hope my guests are here. We'll take a short break to usher them in. And when we return, the conversation still with us.
Back in the day, headlines sold newspapers. Today, they dominate your phone screen all day, every day. Welcome to The Press, the program where headlines don't just scream. They speak and we listen. Every day, we take a deep dive into the bold, bizarre, and sometimes baffling headlines making waves across newspapers. From front pages to fine prints, we break down the stories behind the ink, digging deeper, one headline at a time. These headlines, they're not just ink on paper. They shape opinions, spark debates.
Russia has no right to stop Ukraine from joining democracy.
And sometimes mislead us completely. Every week on The Press, we go beyond the bold print. We ask who's writing the narrative, who's being left out, and what's really going on. One story, different newspapers, or different angles, who's right and who's spin. If you're tired of just being told what to think, join us on The Press on Kaftan TV, where we analyze the newspaper headlines. We don't just read the headlines, we read between the lines.
Yes, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. It is The Press. Now, talking about today's topic, I know a lot of you may just roll your eyes and say, oh, because my guest actually did that. One of my guests actually did that. In fact, my guest in the house right now actually did that. Now, the truth is, these are the situations that we are facing as a people. It was difficult for me to actually come up with a topic today. And I'm like, because we are faced with problems that affect us as Nigerians. There are some problems that may affect some and not affect others. But unfortunately, right now, what we face as a people is a situation that you say the rich also cry. There are no boundaries. We are all in the same circle, and whatever we're facing in the nation, we are facing together, except a few. You know who I'm talking about, just a few. That's the way we feel, just a few who do not really understand what we are going through. If not, if they do, I feel situations would have been different. Now, I'm not a guest on the show. I have a guest. You know the way we do it. This morning, we're taking a look at state of the nation, Nigeria. Rising insecurity, unemployment, high cost of living. We just want to remind ourselves of this situation, talk about them and see if we can reduce tension and, of course, find a way forward. But first, let me do my analysis. Now, Nigeria is a country or a nation flowing with milk and honey, yet the majority of the citizens live in abject poverty. Faulty development policies pursued since 1999 have left the people in poverty. These are manifested in increasing poverty, unemployment, poor housing facilities, diseases, the total collapse of social security, poor medical care. It can go on and on. Poverty and unemployment as social problems have remained the major development challenges in Nigeria today. To compound the dire situation, there has been changes in the forms, dimensions, and intensity of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the last 5 years, from localized stealing, burglary, and assault, among others, to the more pervasive banditry, religious insurgency, kidnapping, robbery, farmers and herders conflict, and so on. Results show the predominance of bandits and gunmen attacks in the northwest and north central, Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, and robbery attacks in the 3 southern geopolitical zones and Abuja. This suggests that insecurity differs from one zone to another, except kidnapping, which cuts across all the 6 zones in terms of spread and intensity. Now, you get the drift. Our focus this morning is to take a look at the state of the nation. We want to talk about the state of the nation. This is where we call home. So there's nothing we can do than keep talking about these issues as they unfold. I was expecting 2 guests. I have one in the house, is Hassan Sardauna. He is a social affairs commentator, a friend to Kaftan, a friend to Nigeria. It's so nice to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Anire, and the entire crew of your program.
So I had to report you to the viewers this morning.
Yeah.
We're talking security. You're like, what else is our reality? Let's talk unemployment. You said, Anire, what else? We'll talk about it. High cost of living, please.
Yeah.
This is our reality. We'll talk about these issues every time, and today we want to take a look at the state of the nation. Before we go deep, I want to pick your mind on where you stand on the state of the nation, Nigeria, right now.
Anire, I'm not far from any other citizen in Nigeria. I live here, was born here, grew up here, studies here, so I know what it means to call a Nigeria situation at this hour. Why am I saying so? Somebody above 50 is not just a boy. I'm a grown man. I'm just going down agefully because I'm aging now. What am I trying to say here is this. With the situation at hands today in Nigeria, there are never a time where we are experiencing such a things. But one cannot hold someone to blame only one person. No, it is a general cry out. And it's a general predomination across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. If you are talking about the northeast, you talk about Boko Haram, ISWAP. If you come to the northwest, you come about banditry and call it even terrorists. If you come to the north central, it's the same thing. When we are talking about the north central, there are what they call Sardauna and whatever. Then when you go some part of the northwest, we have Lakurawa and that of Mahmudawa in the north central, again around Kwara and Niger State. When you are talking about the southeast, you are talking about the ECN and the IPOP or non-government. When you come to the southwest, which we expect it to be more peaceful, you are seeing what now is happening. About more than 40 children and their teachers are under kidnapped dent. So what am I trying to say? When you come to look at the situation of lively cost in day in, day out, there is nothing one can write. I have just taken my, I took fuel this morning before reaching out here at the cost of 1,235 naira per liter. And I want you to understand how many liters will go to fill your tank. This is a life that you must have to do it. It's a lively routine that one must do it daily. And then comes to even ordinary feeding. It is subject to 011, maybe 101 or 110. That is the feeding formula of today in Nigeria. So if you are talking about education, even the education that we are talking about, NELFON that has come to assist, it's not everybody is accessing all those type of welfare packages funds that the government are giving. When you come to normalcy of health, when you go to hospital, just recently, it's just about pens. I know how much I paid for one of my children. Within a short period, not more than 3 to 4 hours, almost 100,000 naira have gone. If I'm just have not an access to get that money, how would I pay those type of bill? I'm just saying that whatever you look at, even look at during the Salah festivities. From here to Kaduna, some people paid 30,000. Some spend their night there on the way. on between a journey that is not more than 100,800 kilometers. This is what do we call it? 180 kilometers. This is a very unfortunate sorrow or situation that we found ourselves today in Nigeria. And for that reason, I am expecting every hand will come on deck so that this journey must be for everybody to cater, and the government will have to stand steadfast because the situation is very scary, very worrisome, very disturbed, and beyond. Everybody now does not know where are we heading to, what will going to happen next. Even here in FCT, just recently, not 2 or 3 days ago, quite long I can remember, the commissioner of police was able to arrest and knock down some of the kidnappers at Biajin here in Kubwa. And then by here around Nyanya, after Bagalafe, all the schools were shut down. The children were hauled on for a moment of clearance of insecurity because the kidnapping issue was there last week. In fact, these are the types of horrors, that stories that we are hearing day in, day out, every day.
It's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Very serious indeed.
Very serious.
Yes.
All right, we've just been told that my other guest is here. We'll take another break to give him a chance to be on the show this morning. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the most needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery?
Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among Committee of Nations.
Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment.
Total liberalization of the communication sector
Will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative.
That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai.
Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at Kaftan TV. And as you see on Kaftan TV,
all right, if you just joined us, it's Press, and I have my other guest, a friend to the house. It is Abdulazeez Idris, a social affairs analyst, one that is no stranger to the show, both here and the Hausa channel. In fact, both of my guests are contributors in both channels, the Hausa channel and, of course, the English channel. Abdul, it's so nice to have you back to Abuja after the Salah celebration.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much.
Yes. So before you joined us, my first guest, Hassan, was actually, I asked a question to pick his mind on the state of the nation. And this man just brought tears to my eyes. It was a good one that we did have the break that we did. Else probably I would have been shedding tears on set with his analysis on his own take on the state of the nation. And I want to also ask you, before we go deep, pick on the different topics we want to take a look at today, the state of the nation. You've gone through a lot in recent times. You sent me messages to let me know what you were going through. I commiserated with you the pain I shared with you. But now I want you to let us know your state of mind on the state of nation, Nigeria.
Well, the most topical issue now we are discussing in Nigeria, everywhere you go, newspapers, TV stations and radios, wherever you go now, you find out the discussion is centered towards insecurity. Everywhere. If you are traveling, your mind is on and off. What will happen to you along the way? So far you are not using aeroplane, you are traveling by road, you are thinking of what could happen to you or what could happen to other passengers, not necessarily you. Likewise, those who are in villages, they appear every morning and night. Was either they could be attacked at home or when they go palm, they will be attacked. As I yesterday, I saw a news that in Zamfara State, in some part of the in Vini or somewhere else, somewhere around that side, they asked the bandits asked the villagers there that they had to bring in 40 million naira for them to be allowed to go to the farm. This is very, very serious matter. As somebody who is living in village, he's the main thing, the main asset that a villager has is his farm. And that's why they produce the food that we eat in the cities. And you said they cannot go to farm. You understand? All these are the problems we are facing. Now, the last one is this one that has been ongoing. Right from the first one that happened was the Chibok girls' abduction. It has been happening now here and there. You can see right from the Chibok, Askira Oba, down to many places. Niger State just recently, before this last one that happened in Oyo State. These are the problems we are having. Children are no longer safe at school. How do they want us to do? They don't want us to go to school. They don't want our children to get educated. This is a very big menace, which we have to do everything possible to see that, yes, we have to join hands together, not necessarily government. People always say government. No. We too, we have to contribute to ensure that our nation, that is Nigeria, is the only country that we have, for example. So we have to put our hands on deck to ensure that this issue of insecurity has to come to stop. If these people are not ready to repent, they have to be decimated. I think that's the best thing to do, because if it is allowed, we have been discussing this thing every day. Something like happens in Somalia, just similar like this one, it has started. Al-Shabaab started just like this small cult fight, transforms into politics. Later it becomes a situation whereby even they have to send the whole president of the country. And you can see Somalia up to today. Look at Sudan. It started like small. Now what is happening? Sudan, a very viable country that has been booming, is economically is thriving, but now everything is down. If these guys were kept unchecked, it could lead to this kind of chaos. Especially now is the northern Nigeria. Now it is moving toward the southwest, maybe likely down to other part of the country, if allowed. The problem is these guys, it has become a lucrative business to some people due to unemployment. That way, I think is part of the subject topic that you put today. When there is unemployment,
we'll go there later.
Yeah,
let's just
those are the reasons.
Oh, okay. Now, sorry to cut you. There is a latest development with the Oyo situation. On the papers, the headline said that the Obama kidnap, that the terrorists are not asking for 1 billion naira. They are not asking for money. They are asking exchange. They want to do a swap. The Nigerian government should release their members while they give back those that they abducted. And I'm saying this is a huge red flag. We've never in this nation seen a situation like that. I would really want you to, help give your say on this latest development where terrorists now ask for exchange of their members to release abducted citizens.
Okay, in Anire, what is the most important thing is this: what is good for the geese is also good for the gander. Where we have left the situation, we left it too early in the starting point. What am I trying to say here? When this thing started in the northeast, we thought even those who come from the northwest were thinking that this menace is for only the northeastern people. But so when it comes to the northwest, the north central were thinking they are far from it. But that was how it has even crossed the river Niger to southeast, where some people are thinking that it is an Igbo matters, where they are talking about IPO with agitation of Biafra Republic. And mind you very well, sometimes back, 20 years almost, or more than, there was a crisis in Niger Delta. If you remember Asari Dukubodem, Tompolo, and others. And that time we are thinking that they were just doing it because then they have a reason of crying that they were either marginalized or whatever, taking their resources and no any benefit. But when it comes to what do we call it, presidential amnesty that has done by the late President Umar Yar'Adua, we have a kind of those
state for all of the agitation.
Then now, when these things are happening between the northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, the southwest, maybe thought that this thing will not come to them, and for that reason, even they were too smart to create what we call a NIGCOMSAT. And that NIGCOM platform, when they were having that, then somebody came out with the name of agitation of Odua Republic, and that was Sunday Iboho. When he left and ran away to Benin Republic after chasing him out, he was about to be arrested and he ran away and was arrested at the Benin Republic. And later in the day when this government come back, have free him, whatever happened, we don't know. But what we are trying to say here is that we must believe and agree that this is Nigeria. We don't have any other country than Nigeria. Let us come together like what my brother have said here. Put our hands on decks to salvage this menace that is happening. This kind of insecurity, let me tell you, if you look at that of Rwanda, when it started between Tutsi and Hutu, so you will be my wife from Tutsi, Hutu, I will be a Tutsi. And we killed the children. And you can see they lost about not less than 1 million of people. And look at the number of their population. But what is happening here in Nigeria, if you had the total number of people that have already lost, you're going to imagine. Because people were not interested because it has not affected them then. Now, when we are talking about these people asking for, what do we call it? Swapping of. The last time when these people have broke down the trend, that was what they are asking. And they were saying that they are Ansaruddin. If you remember of that, now recently a retired general, Rabiu, was arrested or kidnapped in around Mutazu. And what the man, the commandant, the team leader of that camp was saying, Kachala Mamadou, that 3 of his people were arrested and about 750 cattle of his cattle were also arrested. So this thing must be released. So the news of wider swapping is not a new news. If you remember sometimes when the prison breakthrough happened here in Abuja, that was one of the reasons what people are talking about. If you go to the northeast, maybe you heard about some of the Boko Haram have been radicalized, that they should come to, they were going to be taken care of and whatever. It is a kind of swapping. So when you are saying that, the energetic form of dealing with, what do we call it, insecurity is not enough. But the most dangerous part of it in Nigeria is the media. The media sometimes are not helping matters. If you look at what the first statement they have said in the place, that they are asking there must be a Sharia and whatever in Oyo State, which later in the day, one of the captives who happened to be the vice principal debunked that statement. She said, no, it is a lie. What they are asking for is a swap in this statement that is now currently going on. What we are talking about, some people, because of that, I have seen a lot of popular bloggers, or what do we call it, creators content, talking, people like VDM and whatever, saying what they want to say. And that is not helping, it's not healthy. To, when you are talking about now those who have arrested the Adelebu sister or daughter with her twins, there is no single person that is a Northerner, no even a Fulani man, not a Northerner, talk less of a Fulani man. We have to agree that this menace is across the length and breadth of Nigeria. And by so doing, we have to stand united. There is the former head of state, General Sani Abacha, may his soul rest in peace. He said any insecurity that extended more than 24 hours, there must be a hands of government involved in this thing. And we have been seeing a lot of things that are happening. We are not accusing this thing, but those who are in the government that are involved, whether politicians, whether whatever, these are people that are saboteurs. These are people that are kicking against the growth and the development of Nigeria. We have to come together, those who have a very clean hands, to fight these people at length, to make sure that we can't you see what an emir from Kebbi State said? Once there was a time when somebody from emir of Jalingo, Muri, said that they have to fight this banditry 2024. And let me tell you, the level of insecurity in Taraba have come down to a certain level when they agree upon that. And now what the emir of Argungu said, Emir Samaila Mera, I am in tandem with that. Let us join hands together, fight this. They are human beings like us. They are not coming from the sky. If the government cannot afford to protect our life, it is a duty form that the dutiful things that we take within us to fight these people from A to Z. I'm a Fulani by tribe, but this is not a guarantee by a Fulani man to just be killing people along the way. It is, you are making an innocent Fulani like me to be in danger. This is the truth about the matter.
That's true.
Yes, indeed. Getting goosebumps again, getting emotional. I'm not going to break down. My guest is making me all twitchy this morning, getting on emotional. But because of time, let us move on our discussion. I want to come back to Abdul. You actually took us into unemployment. We're taking a look at that because it's one of our topics, our focus this morning, factors affecting unemployment. I was doing my small research, neglect of the agricultural sector, high rate of migration from the rural to urban areas, disregard for vocational training institutes, high rate of embezzlement, political favoritism and nepotism, low rate of investment, rapid growth in population, use of archaic and outdated school curriculum, low economic growth, among others. It can go on and on. Now, it's unfortunate when you talk about insecurity, you can't go far without talking about unemployment. You can't go far without the reality of poverty in the land. These are some of the things I found out. So, intertwining insecurity with unemployment or its effect on insecurity, I want your take.
Yeah, you see, insecurity is generic. We can say it doesn't have any tribe. But the issue of unemployment they always become intertwined to some extent. Why I say this is because when Nigerian borders were open for business some time ago, our youths, especially, I can give you example with the north. In northern Nigeria then, I know a lot of youths who are engaged 100%. They're bringing in rice, they go and bring in dates, you know, this date,
Yes,
they go and bring this tiger nut, which we don't have in Nigeria. They do it in Niger, Mali, and other Libya or wherever. They used to bring it from there. That's the business they do. But when Nigerian borders were closed, based on the reasons given, either insecurity or whatever, and so most of these guys become unemployed. When youths become unemployed, the next thing is those who wanted to recruit terrorists, they use these guys. These guys are number one target. Yeah. So they invite them, you understand? Some of them fall into their trap. Before you know, they give them gun, they give them this and that. Before you know, they become, that's why the insecurity keep expanding in the north. Zamfara, Katsina, as he said, as my colleague has said, earlier on, what we were looking at was only Borno State and Yobe, or at least the northeast. The south northwest, then we don't look at it as something that might affect us.
Yes, well, migrate.
But later on, what we are seeing today, that's the problem we have facing now: lack of unemployment. I mean, lack of employment is terrible in the north. For example, I'm not talking about the southwest or southwest, for example, but in the north, all these boys, that's why they were recruited by these terrorist groups. And one thing, as you mentioned in your statement, in your analysis, you see, agriculture is number one problem. Neglecting it is another problem that we have in the north. Neglecting agriculture also has contributed to lack of employment. I could remember when our youths will go to farm. Now that insecurity has stopped many of them to go to farm. But then when they are going to farm, they can go to farm, produce crops like Binitie, like hibiscus flowers, like ginger, and many other things. But now, today, they cannot go to that farm and do the farming. Some of them are not only directly farming on the farm, but they go to rivers for fishing. Especially if you are talking about the northeast, whereby then that shark bathing is one major source of fish. Every day, trailers of fish lives around that site. But when the insurgency becomes terribly worse in Borno State, especially and some part of Yobe, it becomes zero to them, and that's when they become vulnerable. Before you know, they were recruited into this problem of insurgency. So that's how it keeps expanding. All these problems you see, it has a solution. Any problem that has a solution, you understand? But the problem is not only the negligence from the government, or part of the government, it's also from our own part too. We have to, at all the time, remember that there once upon a time whereby we are living peacefully. What are the reasons? What are the factors that made us to live peace before? And why are we in trouble today? You see, as I said, if, for example, today, Nigerians that are, especially the youths, that are becoming restive and they're feeling alienated because of maybe political, as you say, favoritism and whatever, even if there could be employment in states, it's only those who are the son of the politicians that might get opportunity. That will get opportunity. Even in federal, the same thing. So the best thing we need to do, we need to also keep educating our children who are either newly graduated or even before they graduate. We have to tell them there is no job in the state or federal government or local government. When you graduate, before you graduate, start thinking of what you can do to help your society
and yourself.
Yes, get a skill, as you mentioned. I think presently there's a bill, I think, was passed from the Ministry of Education, that every secondary school will have a vocational center inside it, whereby children will now be learning tailoring, welding, carpentry, and many other things.
So they can be independent.
Yes, they can be independent. All these are part of solutions, you understand? Then on the part of the closure of border, I knew there could be many reasons that federal government gives to close those borders. But there's a need. If we want to solve the northern Nigerian problem, our borders must also be open for business. Borders are meant for businesses.
Not to be closed.
Not to be closed.
I want to give Hassan an opportunity, because of time, to please chip in on unemployment. Of course, we talk about the effect of insecurity on our present situation, so we can quickly move on because we still have a high cost of living to talk on.
Okay. This unemployment is the most major problem that we have to discuss about. And it happens through the failure sometimes from our government participation. That is putting things to be rightful. In the Constitution of Nigeria, we have three, I think, tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the local government. But you know that the state and the federal government are the ones sharing the federal allocation. The local government have been denied the right to their funds. And let me tell you very well, when we were very small, I believe Abdul knows this very well. If you go to a person of my age now, at this situation, there is no any local government that in Nigeria that is collecting below 500 million per month. And mind you very well, maybe the salary of that local government will not exceed 100 million, even with the minimum wage, if they can afford to pay it. But then when we were very young and during our tender age, we used to see the local government chairman construct culvert, construct a feeder road, do electrification, and whatever you think of. And a person of my age, who is as wise as I am, who has gathered a lot of momentum in the lifespan, I did not to come to, if I'm from maybe Somalia local government, I don't need to come to Kano. In the Somali local government, I am a graduate, I have work or have a lot of experience. No any chairman that will become a chairman in that local government that will not be my friend or my younger brother or elder brother or friendly in one way or the other. And I have the capabilities and experience, as wise as I am, to get a contract. And when I get that contract, maybe say it's a 50 million contract. In that contract of constructing a culvert, my friend will come and sell. The person that is selling rice will come and sell. The person that is Merua will come and sell. And a lot of people. This young boy will come and do the labor work. The person that is selling cement, what do you call it, Sun and others. Only these people will get something. At the end of the day, maybe as of the moment, no any mason will come and stay outside a day without having up to not less than 5,000 naira. For that reason, he has somewhere to go and spend his money. But because of this ridiculing of local government, I am just assuring you that Anire, nobody, no young man is having anything to do. Even those who that are well doing must come to the state. Those who are in the state maybe are moving to the federal here. Then you need to know that Abuja is the center of the nation. It's a seat of government. They don't need everybody because the powers have to be disseminated to the state and local government. But this is one of the major problems. Our problem is the executive governors of the federation. I am just telling you, they are not ready to relinquish these funds to this local government chairman. Check here in FCT, because they are getting their allocation directly from the ministry. I want to tell you that, like the chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council, which I know very well, before he was re-elected, he has constructed not less than 40 roads within the outskirts of Amak. And then I can tell you that I know more than 20 boreholes that he has done. Apart of begging the minister to construct some, like now today I think they are commissioning a road that is coming from Apo to Wasa with whatever. He was the one who begged the minister. And the one that he can afford to do, constructing a primary school, the chairs and whatever, he's been doing it. So if my chairman in Zurmi local government, or in Jibia local government, or in Dankama local government in Katina, or in Baga or anywhere, or you go to Inewi and others, are getting their money. All this shit of insecurity and employment will not come to board. So for that reason, the government has failed there. And secondly, this skill acquisition knowledge, we need to know that not everybody that has gone to school will going to be after graduation, we're going to be a civil servant. We should stop that thinking. Let us mind a way of creating skills acquisition to our children. Let them have skills at their level. Because the reason, before you will cut me, here is this. Most of these people that have skills and are good in creativity, they are not carried along by the government at the same time. You need to empower some children. You see them doing this thing. What do we call it? These drones. Some of them were arrested. Instead for them to be taken to a special place, let them empower them, give them another support so that their knowledge will be very useful and important in Nigeria. But the opposite is the answer.
All right, we don't have much time. The phone lines are open. Please, we're expecting like 1 or 2 calls. You can still call in. Let's display the lines so that we can call in. Allow those watching to call in and be part of the conversation before we go today. So as we begin to round off on our discussion, we want to see the effect of insecurity, unemployment on rising cost of living. Factors affecting high cost of living. My little research, fuel prices. Hassan told us how much he bought fuel today just to get here, 1,250 naira. Transportation cost, inflation rate, electricity supply, and tariffs, and so on. So, high cost of living due to the effect of insecurity and, of course, unemployment in the nation. Abdul, please let's discuss.
Yeah, cost of living it has no longer become a new topic to Nigerians. We are used to it now. I can tell you that right from 2015, when Buhari assumes office, down to today, the issue of cost of living keeps rising and rising and rising. It keeps going, no coming down. And as is mentioned, the first factor that affects the cost of living, number one, is this fuel, energy. When energy keeps going off, the cost of living definitely will keep going off, because all these things revolves around transportation. A farmer that farms in the market, in the farm, to carry tomatoes to the market, he has to pay the cost. Possibly, if you go to the farm, a basket of tomato might not be more than 10,000. I'm just giving an example. But transporting it from farm to the marketplace, that basket alone, if it is a distance, it might cost him another 10,000.
That's 20,000 already?
That's 20,000 already. Before he come, he add his profit maybe, for example, or let me say he sell it to a wholesaler sell it to retailer, then that's how the cost keep going off. Because all those ones are also paying rent, and their rents are increased. Their rates are increased. The electricity they're using, the other things, the fuel they will put in grinding machine has already been increased. If, as he said, maybe he bought fuel 1,250. Me, I just came back, from a trip. From the most far north there, I bought it 1,370. A trip that usually from here to Kano, I hardly spend 50,000 in fuel. Now I'm spending 200,000 for the fuel to go and come back. This is the problem we are facing. That's why it affects everything. As far as you talk about fuel, you have finished everything. Now let me tell you, this Salah passed. This Idil Kabir. Before Idil Kabir, many of our people are into run business. Earlier on, if you want to carry truck of rams from, let's say, Megatari, which is in Jigawa State, or Meadua in Katsina State, earlier on, the highest cost you pay is between 800,000 to 1 million. Now you have to pay 2.5 million.
2.5?
Yes, for complete truck to bring your ram. How can you sell a ram? A ram that you bought it 150. If you brought it into Abuja, you supply the cost. You now see that the ram, you can only be able to sell the ram maybe at 200,000. That's when maybe you might get 10,000 or 15,000 naira. You understand? So all these things are affecting the cost of living. Today, if you want to buy gari in the market, you'll be surprised, because the problem is the gari today that you are buying, if you want to buy quality gari, is the 3, 4, 5 times the price that you have been buying. So cost of living has become a very, very serious problem in Nigeria, not only in cities, even in the villages.
It's even worse in the villages.
Because villages problem, one problem villages have was that they don't have the, it's not everything that they get. They produce, but they brought it to urban cities. We are the major consumers. But the problem is here, when federal government to also increases taxes, it also affects. It also is, the consumer tax, consumption tax. All this also contributes to the rising of this rising cost of living. So,
Hassan, your contribution on cost of living, effects of insecurity, unemployment, all muddled together, towards what we're facing now. Let me take just one call before we go. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name please, and where are you calling from?
Israeli from Abuja.
Okay, Brian, go ahead.
Thank you. First, I want to appreciate my most reverend man of God, Pastor Adeboye, for responding after I complained last time. It may not be because I made that call, it may be coincidence, but it happened at the same time. And that is how it should be. The public is having wrong perception. The white thing is to come and clear the edge, which he has done. That the information in the public meant to mislead the public. Please did that. I think he should do more. I understand his part, that he can only advise, he cannot force the president. But the most challenging case here is that the wife of the president have been tied to him and his ministry. So he has to do more. That is one. Two, Adelabu's family was kidnapped. The rescue was so swift within hours. Then I asked, the boys, the children and the teachers that have been in captivity in the same state for weeks, going to mourn, what happened? Are they Christmas? Are they not Nigerians? When you people are talking, when I mean you people, those that have opportunity to be in the public to speak, when you are talking and you can't balance this kind of scenario, you have not started.
Okay, thank you so much. That is our call. Our caller feels that the conversation is not balanced, but our guests come in here, they have a right to their own opinion. I advise sometimes people who call in and feel that the guests are not balanced, if you call me, I will appreciate you be a guest on the show so you too can have your say. So people can have a face to your voice and you can be free to come here to talk. We don't have much time. I'm going to give Hassan his own chance to talk on high cost of living before we go. We have just barely 5 minutes to go.
Definitely, we know that there is a high cost of living. As my brother have stated that since 2015, there are a kind of rising of cost in living in Nigeria. But that of 2023 to date is something different, because the very day that Mr. President announced the removal of subsidy, that was the very day we started feeling this type of difficulty for the first time in the history of Nigeria. But I am not kicking against him. The only problem I have is this, that I will be usually hit on that problem. That is the amount and the number of money that they are getting now to state government. It is maybe 4 or 5 times of what they are getting before. And those money again for that of the local government are still halted by the same governors. So we, if the president is doing what he is right by giving them their own share, let the other money that belongs to the local government chairman get there. Because if there is money in the local government, the other things that will going to happen is that we will have as a subside price through what an opportunity of money to go around in the market. Just now, yesterday, either yesterday or day before yesterday, the government have announced that they will want to pay over 700 billion naira to over 1,000 what do you call it, contractors, which means the money will come out. And if the government have known that they have not been paying, you know, we are expecting to face all this business. And then secondly, the government have looked at the situation of Nigeria and tried to import some rice and others, which have turned the Nigerian production, that is the farmers, to look something else. When you go, a bag of fertilizer is about over 50,000 naira, and then you go to the market and buying a bag of maize at the cost of 18,000. How are you expecting to what do you call it, to encourage a farmer to go and start farming? When this Nasel came during the last government, we have seen anchor borrowers and a lot of people engaged and embarked and went back to even the program of this what do they call it, that they were paying these students 30,000, the name of this program. A lot of them engaged themselves into farming, maybe modern farming, snails and others, and they make money out of it. But now there is no encouragement, and even if you are encouraged, I had a professor of agriculture talking about this in the northern Nigeria. You don't need to farm maize, neither. The only thing you can farm now is either you farm soya beans, granite, and whatever, something that is called cash crop, because you want to waste your time. So you see, in terms of not encouraging, the cost of living will continue rising day in, out, day out. But the fact remains that the government have put a need to go back to the drawing board and look at these common things, farming, to do with agriculture, like Kebbi State and some of part of my state. They are very good in irrigation farming. We almost farm 2-3 times a year. That is Kano State and Kebbi State. And even Borno that you are seeing, they have the highest place of farming rice. But because of the insecurity around that Lake Chad, where we have Baga, Bama, and other Banki them, but there is no farming. Even the fishery now that we are talking about, there was a time when the producers are complaining that the security formation have taken over the business, which have made the citizens of the residents of the state redundant. That is what they knew more than a decade. But now they have turned to be idle. They have nothing to do, and you know, an idle man is always an idle. Yeah. And so the next thing is that to think twice. So what we are saying here, it is not bad. Let government come with a very good design formula, whereby a lot of experienced people with that in that sections will break their mind and bring a very positive output, so that the cost living will come down.
Yes, if you just joined us, our topic this morning, State of the Nation, rising insecurity, unemployment and high cost of living. My guests have done justice beyond expectation, if you ask me, to the topic. They've gone way beyond with the analysis, giving us details, and you know, we've actually tackled this. We're talking about the state of the nation. Every day we'll talk about these issues because this is our reality. They are our reality. What else can we talk about but what stares us in the face? Before we go, there's a way we do it. We're going to speak Hausa and Fulani today on set. I'm going to start with Idris to round off for us on insecurity, unemployment, high cost of living. Talk to our people in our dialect this morning before we go back to your camera.
Yeah, ina maganan rashin zaman lafiya me yake kawo shi shine wato mutane su ɗau bindiga ko su ɗau mukami su hana zaune tsaye, wanda shi yake kawo rashin zaman lafiya a ƙasa. Amma abin da ya kamata mu gane shine ba abin da yake zaman lafiya daɗi. Mai embracing mu rungumi zaman lafiya, mu bar wato da wasu hanyoyi da za mu bi mu kange kuma mu kare matasanmu daga shiga abubuwan da yake na kawo tashin hankali a ƙasa. Ya kamata mu yi, domin wannan abubuwan da suke fara yanzu na wato kashe-kashen mutane, ɗaukar mutane for ransom, limana sai an biya kuɗi a saki mutane da sauransu, don ba abubuwa ne masu kyau ba. Kumanta ba da a baya muna zaman lafiya a dukkan Najeriya ma. Da haka ina fata kuma ina kira ga dukkan mu gabaki ɗaya mu haɗa hannu da gwamnatin tarayya da ta jiha da ta local government da ita ma gwamnati ta yi gyare-gyare a cikin tsare-tsaren ta kamar da a cikin maganganun yanzu muka yi a baiwa local government dama ta zama tana iya aiwatar da ayyukanta a rinka bata kudadenta su kuma matasa a rinka koyar da su daga makarantu to wannan zai taimaka kowa ya zama yana da sana'ar yi ba komai ne gwamnati za ta bayar ba. Na gode.
Na gode. So Hassan, over to you. That's your camera there. You look in and you talk to your people. Very important. A conclusion of all that we've said today.
To bandara be fulbe emi don nos down jonde jam uri bilamu ko Shehu Usman dan Fodio vi dure de me jange ta duri a remi a jangi a jodi jam hande dum fini fulbe viete hambe goni bandit kambe goni kidnappers fullo sentende andira ka gujjol sabo dar majum en alu wujjal en alu warki lenyol en joda jam gwamnati wallita en hokka en ilimi hokka en dama duren demen jangen Allah hokka en jonde jam wa barkidina Nigeria hokka en jutal balle.
Thank you so much. My guest in the house this morning, Hassan Sardauna, who is a social affairs commentator. I appreciate you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
And of course, Abdulazeez Idris, a social affairs analyst. We appreciate you despite traveling. You still took the time again this morning to be here. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I also appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here always.
And everyone who made production possible this morning, we appreciate you. And everyone who watched the show, my caller, I appreciate you. Keep it a date. Keep it locked here tomorrow on The Press. And again, never forget, this is the greatest nation on earth, the place where two rivers meet. The people shall be great. You are great. I am great. We are great Nigerians. Never forget that. I am Anire Binitie. Enjoy the rest of your day.